Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to graph using the nspire calculators. So I'm going to go through the steps. Hopefully you have your calculator in front of you and you can do this at the same time. Okay, so on the black screen, you want to go to New Document, so you hit 1, okay? And then on this screen, instead of going to Calculator, you want to go to Graphs, which is number 2. Now, see how it says f of x? On your problem, you've got f of x equals, okay? F of x equals. I'm going to put everything that is behind it. So all of this right here goes in the calculator, okay? I'm afraid to highlight it because I don't want it to cover it up. This all goes in the calculator, just what is behind the equal sign. Now, when you put in, a lot of people have questions, -2, you actually use the x at the bottom. It's the white button at the very, very bottom. -2x plus 4. And then you hit enter. Now notice it makes a line like the ones that we've been graphing. To access a table, you hit the yellow button and then the letter T, which is down there by the Z. Here is the table that we were making by hand, okay? So when x is 1, y is 2. When x is 2, y is 0, okay? So let's look at some of the things. Given the domain, okay, now remember, domain is the x column. So I'm going to plug these numbers in for x, -2, 0, 2, and 4. And I want to find the range. And I'm going to plot the points. So I'm going to go to my table. The first one that I have was -2. So I'm going to scroll up. The x values, notice the x values are on the far left corner. Okay, so here's -2 in the x column. And here under the f of x, it's 8. So -2, 8. That is an ordered pair. -2, 8. And what I would do before you get started is I would take either a highlighter or another pen and go over your x and y axis just so you can see it, because the black lines kind of blend in. And so my ordered pair, -2, 8, I go to the left 2 and then I go up 8. Now that will not fit on my graph, so I'm not going to graph that one, okay? So let's look at another one, 0. When x is 0, y is 4. So 0, 4. Now that one will graph. So 0, 4. 0 tells me to stay put. 4 tells me to go up. So I stay put and I go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is the ordered pair 0, 4. The next one that I have is 2. So I need to scroll down. So you hit the down arrow button to scroll down. 2, 0. So when x is 2, y is 0. So my ordered pair is 2, 0. So 2 tells me to go to the right, and 0 tells me to stay put. So I go to the right 2 and I stay put. If you forget, it's always a good reminder. The x tells you to go left or right, the y tells you to go up or down. That's just always a great reminder to have above your table or your ordered pairs. And then the last one, 4. So when I go to 4, I need to scroll down. 4 is -4, okay? So 4, when x is 4, y is -4. And I think I can graph that one, 4, -4. So I need to go to the right 4, and then I need to go down 4. So I'm going to go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? Then you're going to have a ruler, and you take the ruler and you just connect your dots. There is your line, and see, it should look like the line up here. Now, once you get your ordered pairs, we found our range, find your, plot the relation. Let's identify the range. The range in this problem was 8, 4, 0, -4. And you want to go in order from least to greatest, so I'm going to go backwards. -4, 0, 4, 8. Range just means they're in the y column, okay? So everything in the y column is my range. Notice on my table, I could have kept going and going and going and going and going. Lots of different values. You just keep moving it up or down. Now, there's something else I want you to notice. Is it increasing or decreasing? So I'm going to pull up my tool, my reveal tool, and I always start going from the left. So on your graph, look for your line. Where do I first see it? Oh, right here. So I am starting up here. That is where my line first starts. So you start at the top. So put your man up on top of the line, and he is going down, right? And if he's going down, it's decreasing, okay? The x-intercept, y-intercept. Now, the x-intercept, here's your x-axis. So look on the x-axis. It's this purple point right here. That is what is on the x-axis. And remember, that point was 2, 0. So my x-intercept, sometimes they will say 2, and sometimes they want the order pair 2, 0. So I want you to be prepared either way. The other point, the y-intercept, is this blue circle. It's on the y-axis. And that one was 0, 4. That is your y-intercept. So 4 was where it touches the y-axis. My ordered pair is 0, 4. That is the coordinate points. That is your x and y. Now I'm going to show you something. This is really very nifty. If you hit Control T, that takes away the table, hit Menu, and then hit 5 for trace, and then 1 for graph trace. Look right there. It is on the y-axis, and if you go to the right and if you go back to the left, look what it says, y-intercept. And at the bottom it has 0, 4. And then I can scroll down, scroll to the right, and when I touch the x-intercept, it has 2, 0. And it says another name for the x-intercept. Another name for the x-intercept is called 0. Okay? That is another name. 0 and x-intercept, they're interchangeable. Now, there's going to be some other questions I want you to answer, and these all come from your table. So remember, anytime you graph to access a table, you hit the little yellow button and then T. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit Control T, and we're going to look for those values. Okay, the first one's at f and negative 5. Remember that in function notation, it's always f of x equals y. Okay, so whatever's in the parentheses is your x. Whatever is outside your parentheses, this is your y. Okay, so negative 5. So I'm going to go up to where x is negative 5. When x is negative 5, y is 14. So I'm going to put 14 right here. Okay, f of what number gives me 8? Remember, 8 is in the y position. So here is 8 in the y. What is x? Negative 2. So this is negative 2. F of negative 1. If it's in the parentheses, it's in the x position. So negative 1, when x is negative 1, y is 6. Okay, this time I want negative 10, but it's in the y position. So negative 10. Now these are all positive, and notice it's getting smaller, so I'm going to keep moving. See, they're getting smaller. I'm going to keep going until I get to negative 10. There's negative 10. When negative 10 is in the y, x is 7. And then 16, when f of 16, so 16 is in the x position. So I need to scroll down quite a bit. There's 16. When x is 16, y is negative 28. And then the last one, when does it equal 16? When is y 16? So go back to your table. And these are negative in the y's, so I need to go back up quite a bit until I get to 16. So you just do the up arrow, and I'm getting closer. There it is, negative 6. Okay, so this is negative 6. Now we're going to turn it over. We're going to do the same thing. And that tracing, this is right here. This is the trace. So I have the steps on the back for you, but we're going to go through all that again, and just with a different problem, and so you can see the steps one more time. Okay? So first of all, I need to graph, and anytime you want to graph, you will always go to, and to get rid of this, you can do Control T, that gets rid of the table, and then if you hit the button Tab, which is above the yellow button, see that comes up here Oh, my calculator's freaking out. If that happens, that won't happen yours, it's the board. Hit the home button. You can always go to new document and start over. And that works every single time. Okay, so you can always go to graphs, and that works every single time. On here, I need to plug in what is behind the parentheses. Now notice it's a fraction, so you can enter that fraction just like normal. So control divide, you have 3/4, and then make sure you scroll to the side so you have a nice long cursor, put your X, and then it is -2. So put your -2. Now hit enter, and there's your graph, okay? Now I have some different values. I have the domain is -4, 0, and 4. So that is my domain. I want to find the range. So -4, to get my table, Control T, I need to go up to -4. X is in the -4, Y is -5. So Y would be -5. -4, -5. That would tell me to go to the left. -5 tells me to go down. So I'm going to go over my X and Y axis again, just so you can see those. -4, -5, I go to the left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my first point. The second one, 0. So on my table, when X is 0, Y is -2. So 0 tells me to stay put, -2 tells me to go down. So 0, you stay put, and then you go down 2. Right? And then the last one, +4. So on my table, I need to scroll down. +4, then my Y value is 1. So this is a 1. So I'm going to go to the right 4 and up 1. So start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1. Once you have your points, you connect them, and you'll use a ruler to draw your line. Now, while I am here, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this information, f of -10, since I already have my table up. So I'm going to scroll up to -10. It's not moving, sorry about that. Okay, let's see if we can get it to move again. Okay. Here we go. All right. So when it equals -10, it is -9.5. So f of -10 is -9.5. When is it -8? When f of what number gives me -8? So that's close. F of -8 gives me -8. And then f of -2, so I need to keep going. F of -2. F of -2 is -3.5. And then f of what number gives me 2.5? So I'm going to keep scrolling down. Now these are all negative, so I'm going to have to go down to 2.5. There it is, f of 6. So when f of 6, when x is 6, f of 12. So I need to go down to 12. When f of 12 is 7. And then f of what number is 16? So I need to keep going until I get to 16. F of 24. F of 24 is 16. Now on your line, is it increasing or decreasing? It is increasing, so let's make a note of that. It is increasing. Now let's find your x and y intercepts, and we're gonna do this right here. So do Control T to get rid of your table. I'm going through the steps. So Control T removes the table. Then you're going to hit Menu, and you're going to hit 5 for trace, 1 for graph trace. There it is. Now notice it is on the y axis. If you forgot, if you just want to move it left or right, when it comes back, see it says y intercept. So on your paper, where it says y intercept, that is 0, -2. That is the y-intercept. Now let's go to f of -3. I'm going to show you how you can also do it. This is harder, but I'm going to show you how you can do this. Go to the left, move your arrow to the left. Notice on the bottom, these blue numbers keep changing. So now it says like -0.9, that's -1.2. I'm going to keep going until I get to -3. Oops, I went past. Negative 3 is negative 4.25. Okay, so this would be negative 4.25. And then let's quickly go up and find the x-intercept. And the x-intercept, or the 0, is 2.67. So that would be 2.67. And another name is called 0.